Welcome to Sociology Visualized. Today's lecture focuses on Iravati Karve, one of the most significant figures in the development of sociology and social anthropology in India. Iravati Karve was a pioneering Indian sociologist and anthropologist who made major contributions to the study of kinship, caste, family, and regional cultures in India. Her work combined textual analysis, fieldwork, and comparative sociological methods. She is particularly known for her systematic study of Indian kinship systems and for showing how regional variations shape social institutions such as family, marriage, and caste. Karve belonged to the first generation of Indian sociologists after G.S. Ghurye, and her work helped expand the empirical study of Indian society. Early life and background. Iravati Karve was born in 1905 in Burma, Myanmar, into a progressive and intellectually active family. She later moved to India, where she received her education. Karve studied philosophy at Fergusson College in Pune and later pursued anthropology in Germany. She obtained a PhD from the University of Berlin, which exposed her to European anthropological traditions. After returning to India, she joined Deccan College in Pune, where she became a professor of anthropology and conducted extensive research on Indian society. Her training in both Western anthropology and Indian classical traditions allowed her to combine empirical research with textual scholarship. Intellectual influences. Iravati Karve's work was influenced by several intellectual traditions. First, she was influenced by G.S. Ghurye, under whom she studied sociology in India. From Ghurye she inherited the tradition of studying caste, kinship, and culture through historical and textual sources. Second, her training in European anthropology exposed her to comparative methods used in studying different cultures. Third, Karve also relied on ancient Indian texts such as the Vedas, Puranas, and epics, particularly the Mahabharata, to understand social structures. However, unlike many earlier scholars, she combined textual analysis with fieldwork and empirical observation. Major works. Some of Iravati Karve's most important books include Kinship Organization in India, 1953. This is her most influential sociological work. In this book, Karve systematically analyzed the kinship systems of different regions of India. She demonstrated that kinship patterns in India vary widely across regions and cannot be understood through a single model. Hindu Society, an Interpretation, 1961. In this book, Karve analyzed the structure and functioning of Hindu society, focusing on caste, kinship, and family. She attempted to interpret Indian social institutions within their historical and cultural context. Yuganta? The End of an Epoch. This work is a sociological interpretation of the Mahabharata. Karve examined the epic not merely as mythology but as a reflection of social values, moral dilemmas, and human relationships in ancient Indian society. Karve's approach to the study of Indian society. Karve adopted a multidimensional approach in studying Indian society. Her methodology included textual analysis. She used ancient texts, scriptures, and epics to understand traditional social institutions. Fieldwork. Karve conducted field studies in different regions of India, collecting empirical data about kinship patterns and social practices. Comparative method. She compared different regions, communities, and kinship structures to identify similarities and differences. This combination of textual, historical, and empirical methods made her work distinctive. Kinship Organization in India. One of Iravati Karve's greatest contributions is her analysis of kinship systems in India. Karve argued that kinship is one of the fundamental organizing principles of Indian society. She showed that kinship influences marriage patterns, family structures, inheritance, social obligations, caste relations, regional kinship systems. Karve identified four major kinship zones in India. These zones differ in terms of marriage rules, kinship terminology, and family relations. Northern kinship system. In northern India, marriage within the same village is prohibited. Marriage within the same clan or gotra is forbidden. Strong emphasis on patrilineal descent. Women move to the husband's household after marriage. This system creates clear separation between natal and marital families. Southern kinship system. In southern India, cross-cousin marriage is common. Marriage between relatives such as mother's brother's daughter may be allowed. Kinship networks are more interconnected. Karve argued that southern kinship systems produce closer relationships between affinal and consanguineal relatives. Central Indian kinship pattern. Central India shows mixed characteristics, combining elements of both northern and southern systems. Eastern kinship pattern. Eastern India displays unique kinship practices influenced by local cultural traditions and tribal interactions. Karve's analysis of the family. Karve studied the Indian family as a dynamic institution. She argued that the traditional joint family system was historically important but not universally practiced across India. Karve emphasized that family structures vary according to economic conditions, regional culture, kinship rules, inheritance patterns. Thus, she rejected the idea that one single family model represents all of India. Karve's study of caste. Karve viewed caste as a complex social institution that interacts with kinship and family structures. She argued that caste is not only a system of hierarchy but also a system of social organization and cultural identity. Karve also highlighted the importance of endogamy, meaning marriage within the caste group. Endogamy helps maintain caste boundaries and social continuity. Yuganta, sociological interpretation of the Mahabharata. In her famous book Yuganta, Karve reinterprets the characters of the Mahabharata as historical and social personalities rather than mythological figures. For example, Bhishma represents the conflict between duty and personal life. Draupadi symbolizes female strength and suffering within patriarchal society. Krishna represents political realism and strategic thinking. Through these interpretations, Karve shows how the epic reflects social values, power relations, and moral dilemmas of ancient Indian society. Contribution to Indian sociology. Iravati Karve made several major contributions. Systematic study of kinship. She provided the first comprehensive sociological analysis of kinship systems in India. Regional approach. Karve emphasized that Indian society must be understood through regional diversity rather than a single uniform model. Interdisciplinary method. Her work integrated sociology, anthropology, history, and textual studies. Empirical research. She contributed to the growth of fieldwork-based sociology in India. Criticism of Iravati Karve. Despite her important contributions, some criticisms have been raised. Limited focus on social change. Karve focused more on traditional social structures than on processes of modernization. Cultural interpretation. Some scholars argue that her work sometimes emphasizes cultural explanations over economic or political factors. Limited attention to power relations. Later sociologists influenced by Marxism and feminism argue that Karve did not sufficiently analyze class inequality and gender power structures. Conclusion. Iravati Karve remains one of the most influential scholars in Indian sociology and anthropology. Her work on kinship, caste, family, and Indian culture laid the foundation for many later sociological studies. By combining textual scholarship, field research, and comparative analysis, Karve provided a deeper understanding of the complex diversity of Indian society. Her contributions continue to be important for scholars studying Indian social structure, kinship systems, and cultural traditions. If you found this lecture helpful, do like, subscribe and share this video. Thank you.